welcome to the podcast.
Welcome. So this week we're going to be talking about Earth 2 as a platform, how that ties in with Knights of Malta Megacity and other megacities, and also NFT projects and how that ties in with Earth 2.
So, Earth
Hmm.
2 as a project
Platform.
platform.
Hmm.
Keep me straight now. So I was thinking recently. I had once complained to you about where I thought people weren't, taking Earth too seriously. As more than, they just think it's a game.
Hmm.
And I was thinking, right now that's basically what it is. It
Hmm.
is a game.
Hmm.
Okay. It hasn't developed enough. Once V1 comes in and then we're able to start advertising and setting up stores and stuff like that, well, then it will be more.
Hmm.
And so,
In phase one, it seemed to be that investing stage where people were just collecting land and trading, and that was, I mean, you could consider that a game, but you could also consider that a trading platform. And then with phase two, it slowly turned into this gamification of collecting jewels, building buildings, and now with rating as a part of it as well, that's that gamification. And people kind of expected it to entertain them. And this is where I get a bit confused sometimes, and I'm conflicted because a lot of people are like, when is this coming out? When is that coming out? And they really treat it like Earth 2 as a metaverse project is meant to entertain its users.
right. Yes. Okay. So you're thinking, a lot of people are thinking about it like sandbox or roadblocks,
Yeah.
something like that.
Mm.
And that's not what the developers' idea of Earth 2 is, I don't believe.
No. And I think with Sandbox too, you'll find that a lot of they're kind of a couple of steps ahead of where Earth 2 is right now, because they do have that gameplay in the sense that the people that bought the land, so we're talking about the gaming companies, developers, people that are building these games for people to play, we're kind of that group of people that have bought the land, and then we are thinking about developing these sorts of things for other people as well as our own communities. Does that make sense?
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Hmm.
So, like the mega city projects,
Hmm.
we're
Exactly
looking
like.
towards, yeah, we're looking towards the future of development
Hmm.
into, advertising and so on and so forth. I understand.
Yeah. And I think the point with that is that through all of the development with Earth 2 being so, they do a lot of pivot turning, right? So when we had the draft white paper come out, there was XYZ planned, this is the roadmap, and then that basically came out right at the end of what everyone considered the bull run, right?
Right. Okay.
And then they pivoted because of all of these different things that were happening. So we had Luna that went under, we had all this stuff with FTX, and they made the call just to hold back on the Essence launch because they didn't want it to just be investors coming in and throwing money at it left, right, and center, in and out, without any actual utility, which is fine. It
Yes.
makes sense, right?
Yes.
Um, so now they're focusing on building these mechanics, which is great as well. But I think what a lot of people tend to forget is that when you're an investor, you own land and you want to attract people to your land, you have to treat it like a Facebook group or your own personal Facebook page, treat it like a business in the sense that you have to attract your own people there. You have to keep it engaging. You have to, interact with your community or in other communities, if that makes sense.
Yes, no, it's perfect sense. And,
Mm.
you're talking about interacting like with Sioux City, Pacey,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Valhalla and all the others. And so play off each other and work to take and develop each project.
Mm,
They help you, you help them, and so on and so forth. And then develop communities such as we have with the KOM.
mm.
And which I think we've developed a pretty good community.
Yeah, yeah. So my examples with what certain people have done. So you say Shun City with Shunfest. That's a great example. And I think as well what Nizza did for Knights of Malta, building the spatial, as well as what you're talking about with setting up a virtual reality museum as well.
Yes, right,
And Earth 2 has nothing to do with that, in the sense that they're not really giving you the tools to do it. You're using them as a platform to launch that. So when people sit there and complain, you think, well, do you actually complain about Facebook being boring, or do you complain about TikTok or Instagram or Twitter being boring? You don't, because they're all platforms that you create your own content, you interact with people on them, right?
sure,
So yeah, I mean, we're going to have that interoperability anyway, where, we saw in the E2V1 video with the portals.
right,
Who's not to say that you builder, you can't have your museum portal in there.
right, right. And that's what we're looking, and that's what I'm looking at in the
Hmm.
future.
Yeah.
So I've got the space set up in Malta and KOM,
Hmm.
and you've seen that where I've got the museum Metaverse EPL,
Mm.
and so that's going to be, when we get to that point, that will be my location for
Yeah.
people to take and venture into it and give them portals to go other places and stuff like that.
Yeah. That's your domain name. And that's why they made it so cheap to start off with, because
Right,
with the .com domain rush, EPLs is no different. It's just specific
right,
to Earth 2 platform rather than a Web 2 browser, for example.
correct.
And also, just talking about that as well, I think where a lot of these complaints come from is that the community that Earth 2 has attracted since when they first came out, it was fiat entry. People didn't know anything about blockchain, NFTs, any of this sort of stuff. So they expected it to operate the same way that a game development would happen, right?
Right, right.
So
Yes,
you get a bit of both. You get the guys who, they chip into like a crowdfunding sort of thing, and they want to see development. They want to see some sort of gameplay based on their
right.
previous experience doing that. And then you have other people that are just pure investors. They put the money in. It's a set and forget sort of thing, right?
Yes, yep. I like those people though, for rating.
Yes, more of those people, please, please. Yeah.
So you're right. People expect to, like you said earlier, expect to
Mm,
be entertained. The
mhm,
platform isn't entertaining them enough, and those,
mm.
so therefore, they're looking at it as if playing Roadblock or something like this, and so
Yeah, yeah.
and E2 isn't at that point.
No, that's right. And
But
the point that I think we originally wanted to make with talking about this was to give those people who complain about it a good kick up the backside and say, wake up, start building something or start helping someone build something, because there's so much to do. It's not funny, right?
oh yeah, you're
They
right.
just, you just have to use your imagination.
Yes, and that's the key,
Hmm.
because anything will be possible.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
so think of something you want to do and
Yeah.
start working on it, because
Or come and help us do our stuff. I've got
yeah,
plenty of work to do.
there too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm,
Absolutely. Well, people will come around eventually.
mm, yeah.
And if they don't, well, we'll just do better.
Hmm. So, yeah, I mean, when we kind of circle back to talking about the Knights of Malta and
Okay,
that particular topic. We're looking at, okay, what are some of the mega city projects doing at the moment? So this is just on our scope and what we know,
right,
mostly from Discord, I would say.
right.
I don't see a lot of stuff happening on Facebook. And if there's stuff happening on Reddit, I don't know about it. But as far as I know, that is just a place where people go to be cynical and trolls. And
Yes.
I assume.
I think
um,
Twitter is Twitter and Discord are the two main platforms that you see people talking about their
yeah, that's right.
projects.
Yeah. So a couple of things that we've kind of looked into with what other mega city projects are doing. So Schoenfest, we mentioned that before. I think it's great. And I think as far as how that's developing is really dependent on, again, the sentiment of different projects and how much time Pacey has into putting into it and how much everyone's looking. So when we first had the initial hype, there was a lot of people looking at it and they were thinking, okay, this is get rich quick, that sort of thing.
Right,
And now we kind of have the people that have been waiting. They're still active and they're still really involved, but there's not a massive audience there.
right.
Um, so, I mean, that was great for all the people that were involved. And then you had the Rocket League, similar sort of thing there as well with Evolve.
Yes. Yeah.
And that was great as well. Um, I do tend to find that there is this really difficult thing with having these things live is that everyone lives all over the world. And that's what
Yes.
I really struggle with is because these games could be on at 1 in the morning, they could be on at 5 in the morning, they could be on the middle of the day when I'm at work, they could be when I'm having there's no set time for anyone, so it's very hard to tune in. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It can be difficult to try and figure out the being able to get everybody involved,
Hmm.
and in that sense of a live event. So, um, yeah, it could be difficult because we've got people all over the world.
Mm.
I mean, you know, I was looking in our Discord at where are you at, you know, and we pretty much cover the globe.
Hmm. Oh yeah, it's a widespread. You got people from America, UK, Europe, and then you've got myself, Australia. You got a couple of people who are in South Korea, which is a couple of hours behind as well. So it's a good
Right.
spread. Um,
Hmm.
yeah. So one of the things that we'll just mention too is that around content creation and what megacity projects can do, they have a part in the creator player which mentions external NFT collections
Right.
is a way of being able to create and earn from.
Okay.
Right. So we've
Right.
already done that,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
We
With
oh,
Genesis.
I mean, I'm not earning anything, right?
Well,
That's how I
the
operate.
project.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But the project is.
Yeah, absolutely. It's building. So who's not to say that another megacity project that hasn't really been active could come online again, really get their community back in and go, we're going to do this. This is going to be involved in Earth 2. We're going to make it interoperable. And the point that we're making here is that it is the people's metaverse and community feedback has been a driver in how they've developed.
Yes.
So you
Yes.
have enough voices talking to the Earth 2 development team, the community managers, to Shane, even on Twitter or Discord, and you start to see him light up and go, you know what, that's a great idea. Let's get working on it.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah. I know. Ever watched Shane's tweets every now and then, and then also see the updates and say, oh yeah, right. Somebody said such, and so they've turned around and or implemented it into the project, into the game.
Yeah. One
So
one thing that I was a bit confused about, have you seen the latest UI update with rating?
No, are you talking about the colored hearts or something like that?
Yeah,
Or what? I can't see anything on that. I don't,
it's
what is that?
live on the site, and you just click the heart twice. So if it hasn't been highlighted as a favorite, and you click it twice, and it changes color, I don't understand where that come from. But anyway,
Well, I guess it would, because, so for my rating, there's some places, that I can only rate them every other day or every third day or something like that.
yeah.
Okay. And then there's others that I can hit every day,
Hmm.
every 24 hours I can hit them and
Yeah.
I get a good return.
Hmm.
So I could see where the coloration would come in handy,
Hmm.
because like, for example, one area I'm rating, I got like 10 people that I can raid
Hmm.
and get something off of. And,
Nice.
but some of them aren't, like I said, some of them I can't hit them for a couple of days, and others I
Mm,
could hit every day. And so I could see where the colors could come in like that,
mm,
so green is, like, a good to go every day,
mhm.
so on. But I don't know. I
I suppose it's up to every user. They could do whatever they want with them.
right. Yeah.
Hmm. But
But
I mean, I mentioned this in conversation with someone, and I kind of thought, well, I mean, for me personally, I can remember during the 24 cycle, I can go, okay, this person I hit, so I'm gonna have to either double up on another person, or I should say person and property. Um,
yeah, I know.
I'm not a violent man, you know. Um, but yeah, so I mean, my memory is pretty good for that sort of stuff. So I don't feel like I need to use it because I can just scroll through if I've got an unsuccessful. Ah, damn it. Is that because it's already drained? So I try and hit them again on a different property. And if that doesn't work, I go, okay, they've logged in.
Right. I'm on the delays. I have a feeling that that's just because somebody else is rating the property at the same time.
Yes, I agree. There's a
Because
very popular area in Malta. Do you know where it is?
not sure. No, I do not.
I don't think you own any land there, but if
Mhm.
you go to where the casino is, right
Okay.
near the capital,
Oh, okay. Right.
there's a whole bunch of really large plots all pushed together.
Uh-huh.
And most times I'll raid them and then they'll just sit there for the whole day. They'll come back full.
Oh,
But I think I'm competing with a couple of people there, which is fine.
okay.
Yeah, so you'll find them.
Yeah. I noticed that any droids any rating that I'm doing in large, where there's a concentration of people,
Mm,
they're the ones that normally get stuck. Not always though.
mm,
But so that's why I kind of concluded that it's because I'm competing with somebody else to raid.
mm. Yeah.
So
Yeah. So anyway, well, one other thing that I wanted to mention too, interesting story today. So I had a bit of a brainstorm because I was thinking, okay, what can I do now? And I know I've still got lots to do. So that I've got a huge list, but some things are not quite as easy as others. And some things lead into finishing others. So they're kind of internet connected. So one of the goals that I had was trying to sell out Mosta or Mosta.
right.
You know where that is?
Yeah, not talking about the north, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So not where you set up the base of most of your land, but it's kind of to the left of where we initially did our setup, and then we
Okay.
built to the left of that. So anyway, that I was thinking about that. Okay, how can we sell this out? Because I don't want to pester people to buy more land if they've already got plenty, right? I'm like, okay, that's fine. Like you've got enough Malta, no worries.
Right.
um, but there's still a little bit of land there, maybe 1 to 2,000 tiles worth.
Okay.
And so I went and consulted ChatGPT, and they gave me a couple of suggestions, which was a bit wonky because they started talking about Malta Chamber of Commerce and Malta business investors and things like that. But it gave me a suggestion of a newspaper.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And that's where I came back with this flyer idea. And so I sent off our website to the Times Malta.
Okay.
And within an hour, I saw someone visit the website from Malta and sat on the website for about 10 minutes.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
So I
Okay.
thought that was pretty cool. But there's
Yeah,
potential for partnerships there and a little bit of exposure for people if they really want it bad enough.
sure. No, that's a good idea. Um, and I think we might be able to build up some partnerships within Malta
Mm,
and um and Malta Megacity.
absolutely. And there's actually a blockchain and AI conference happening this year in Malta, and I
Oh,
believe there's this structure to it. I only briefly looked at it online because I thought, well, it's not an online seminar. It's one of those you go to it.
right,
And for me to get over there is quite an expensive trip from Australia as opposed
right.
to from Europe. And yeah, they have this, you can buy a booth and you can prepare a pitch for all of these different investors that are coming to the conference, right?
Oh, wow. Okay.
But wouldn't that be great?
Yes, it would.
The only thing is that we treat it like a community project at the moment. We don't have it set up like a business because a business
Right,
has to make money, right?
right.
We're not really in that position just yet.
No, we're not.
So
Conference.
a
Okay.
bit of food for thought for some people out there who've got things set up in different areas that they might be able to collaborate with certain businesses, investors, and the like.
Well, I think that's once the platform is developed more
Hmm.
that we can start putting in buildings and start doing advertising.
Mm,
Because there have been big businesses that have already been already been buying into both Earth 2 and other metaverse projects, sandbox and stuff like this. Nike and Ledger and several others were advertising in sandbox already.
mm,
And so big corporations already understand that this is going to be not a passing phase.
mm, absolutely. And if anyone wants more information on that, Luke from Tech Circus, he's spoken with Pacey in an interview, and he's
Uh-huh.
also done a panel with Ozzy, Pacey, and myself. And
Uh-huh.
he has some really good points on there. So if you haven't seen those, you definitely need to go check out Pacey's YouTube. But what we're looking at is with our projects, we've got a couple of things that we need to achieve, and it needs to happen before these certain things kick off. So with the KOM Genesis, we need to
Uh-huh.
get the tiles cheap now before they go through the roof, and then the people that are coming in, they don't want to buy tiles anymore because they're too expensive. you know.
Right.
Um, so yeah, Red Energy was great for that.
I think that's a possible point to make for the Genesis project also.
Mm,
So a person could get involved with Earth 2 without necessarily having to buy land in Earth 2
mm, that's
with
right.
okay with the Genesis with the NFTs.
And yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing some interoperability where it really does feel like a metaverse. It really
Right.
does feel decentralized, and you see a lot of that with the sandbox as well, because you've got these NFT avatars running around. So people have bought the NFT, and I bought one as well.
Okay.
I only just recently sold it because they had issues with being hacked, and I thought, yeah, no thanks. um,
I hear
as
you.
you do. Um, yeah, so I'm looking forward to that, and you have to be really careful because it is a brand new space, and there are some creative characters out there for sure.
Yes. Yes, there is, and you're right. You have to. I think that's Shane's been pretty tight on the security of of the platform and stuff. So
Yeah, no, I agree, absolutely. Um, there have been a couple of people though, which is quite funny. Do you remember Wallace?
it sounds familiar, but I'm not. You have to
Yeah,
refresh.
he's a younger guy, and I got him into the Knight's Order. And what had happened was he got his account frozen for something like 9 months.
Oh,
Yeah, so he missed out on quite a lot. But when he came back, he came in really strong because he was obviously very eager. But it just goes to show, like, they are very careful about things with certain activities and what that might look like, and then it's guilty until proven innocent, I suppose.
right.
Hmm.
Okay.
So anyway, just on a final note, I did have a plan for a giveaway last week, but did you see that in the apology video?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty clever because I don't think anyone actually picked up on it. They kind of just assumed that that little image that I put in the video was just me going, "Oh, this is what we're planning to do. We're going to give out prizes." And then they were pleasantly surprised when I messaged them. It was like, "Hey, you won something." They're like, "What?" Yeah,
So, okay.
it pays to pay attention, right?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So, all right. So, class one, I believe, is nearly sold out. From the last time that I looked, there was only about 70, was it 70? 70 or 700,000 class one tiles left. Someone posted it in Discord.
Wow.
So when Saudi opens, and there's a couple of other countries that haven't opened fully yet as well,
Uh-huh.
then it's all over, and then we're going to start to see some value shift from there, I believe.
Okay.
Food
I
for thought for people who are still buying with the red energy.
think that covers everything we wanted to cover this time.
Yeah, I think so. And we are still looking, if anyone's interested, uh, to come on and have a chat about anything that you want to talk about. We were meant to have Smooge on, but he's gone a bit rogue today, and then last week he was sick as well. But he's got some really great ideas.
All right. Well, we
Hmm.
look forward to having him on one of these weekends, and anybody else that wants to join us.
That's right. Just pop in the comments, give us a quick message, let us know if you want to come on and if you've got something you want to talk about.
And if there's something you want us to talk about, please put it down in the messages as well.
Absolutely. We're always going to have something to talk about, but your thing might be more interesting than our dribble drabble.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for listening.
Thanks for listening in, guys. Catch you later.